Hello everybody and welcome back to the Sonic and the Black Knight playthrough. It's time to continue on with the plot, and this time we have got three big missions to take on. We've got the Shrouded Forest, we've got the Great Megalith, and we've got the Cauldron. And we're going to begin playing as the other members of the Knights of the Round Table because this is their mission, and so it's only right that they complete it. So, we are going to do a little bit of blacksmithing stuff, I think, to make sure that we have items attached to them, to try and, you know, make the most of our journey with them, but oh well. Now, the way that this works is that each knight has a connection with a different style. So, I'm pretty sure that Lancelot is Paladin style, Percival is Cavalier style, and Knuckles is Knight style. I think that's the way it works. Playing as one of the Knights of the Round Table allows you to increase your proficiency in those other styles, but obviously I'm not really going to be making much use of that. Each knight has a different number of equipment slots. I believe Lancelot has 2, Gawain has 1, and Percival has 3. Might be the other way around for Gawain and Lancelot, but we'll see later on. You also have the opportunity to craft weapons using treasures that you've already gotten. So you initially have their weapons anyway, so you have Arendite, Galantine, and Levitivit or whatever. But using other components, you can craft weapons. If you want to complete the game, you're going to have to craft every single one of these. And they can require some rather rare items. There's also something for using the blacksmith 20 times, and I think it's in this, so have fun. There's 33 weapons total, so yeah, you're going to be doing a lot of stuff in here if you want to get all of the weapons. They have different effects, which is actually quite cool, and something that you are probably going to want to make use of if you want to more successfully take on some of the missions. But, well, as you can see here, they all have different abilities, but we're just going to stick with the core weapons for this, just because that's what you're going to be faced with more likely than not, because most people don't tend to check the other stuff.
It must be nearby.
Now, Lancelot is rather cool to play as, because obviously you've got the speed shoes. Well, by speed shoes I mean the rocket shoes, which is just rather cool and hilariously out of place in a medieval setting, but either way. He's he's slower in his attacks than Sonic is, but he's also, I think, a little bit more powerful. So that's quite cool. Also, everybody's soul surge is different. So Shadow's is basically chaos control, and I think it's chaos blast. So if there are enemies in front of you, then Shadow will warp to them and kick them in the face, and it's rather awesome.
It should launch me through.
I can't remember what happened. I think if there are no enemies in front of you, then he will leap into the air and soar forward in a really awesome thing, but I don't think I'm actually going to show that off at all. Now, I have to say, I'm not a huge fan of the way Lancelot plays, largely because there is such a pause when you go into the spin slash that it can just be a little bit finicky, and it can be really off-putting as well, because you think you know what you're going to be doing, and you think you've got enough time to be able to hit an enemy, but then they'll just catch you off guard and you're just like, really? Why? Also, this particular section is really cruel. The way you get past it without taking any damage is to ride over the logs, which will just launch you into the sky, and then you homing attack in midair to avoid getting hit. It's easier said than done, and I certainly had to redo this particular mission a number of times because I kept dying / getting hit in this section, and it's just mean. The main thing that I find a little bit frustrating about this entire segment of the game is that the levels in which the characters are meant to be completing their mission aren't really suited to those characters. So while Shrouded Forest is Lancelot's mission, you're better off playing as Gawain, because Gawain can glide. And you're probably better off using Lancelot in Percival's mission, because Percival is rubbish in Percival's mission. The only one where the character stands an okay chance in their mission is Gawain, and that is what you're going to see in a few minutes' time. But first, cutscene! Yay!
This must be a barrier stone. This stone is but part of the ring that sealeth the Dark Hollow. Dark Hollow? What is Merlina up to now?
And the reason I said that we're going to have it in a few minutes' time is because we've got an extra mission now. As soon as you complete one of the missions with the knights, then an extra mission will unlock immediately afterwards. And I'm going to be going through each of them as we go. And also, because why the hell not, I'm going to be showing off the medals. So, for this mission, because we're playing as Lancelot, we're going to get the Medal of Lancelot. And it's going to be glorious. And also, because why the hell not, I decided to equip the, I think, stronger weapon. I don't really know, but we're gonna go with it. So, what does the Medal of Lancelot do? It plays All Hail Shadow whenever you're playing a mission, and just, I have to say, I am rather quite fond of All Hail Shadow. It's a pretty awesome theme song. Now, this particular mission caused me endless frustration, but the way that you get it is that you need to kill 20 enemies in a row without getting hit. That's what it means by a chain of kills. The chest mimics do not count as enemies. It's the spider things, but obviously you need to make sure that you are actually, attacking the spiders. This is easier said than done, because if you don't know whereabouts the spiders are, which means, that's what the butterflies are there doing, confusing you for. But, yeah, it's very easy to get hit during this, especially considering there are spikes hidden beneath or behind some of the chests. And it's just like, oh! Also, if you leave it too long between killing some of the enemies, then the chain will also end. So, it's a case of picking your moments and so on, and just not screwing up. But there we go, mission cleared. And that actually went rather well, all things considered. It could have been far, far, far worse. Also, oh my god, Shadow, all's well that ends well. Oh, the temptation to do the line is strong, but I will avoid it, because we are heading off to the Great Megalith, where we're going to get to play as Gawain, which is going to be amazing, because I think Gawain is easily the best of the Knights of the Round Table in this game. And that is primarily because of his gliding abilities, and also because he has a ranged attack. What do I mean by he has a ranged attack? Well, you will see shortly. But yeah, I like Gawain. Also, I mean, I like Gawain in his medieval romances because he's just a bit of a smart ass, really, and it's great. Also, Great Megalith has an awesome soundtrack. It's just so grand. It's wonderful. It's also, I would say, a nice contrast to Titanic Plain, because while Shrouded Woods and Deep Forest are the same kind of paralleling, it's not quite as effective because Deep Woods is just a wood, and Shrouded Forest is just a foggy wood, and you're going to end up with a similar, well, it's kind of exactly the same aesthetic. But with the Great Megalith versus the Titanic Plains, because Titanic Plains takes place in the day and it's all bright and sunny, the contrast to the Great Megalith, which is obviously at night, and you've got the moon, and it's all really quite dark, and the atmosphere is entirely different, it just works a lot better, I think. Also, yes, that is what Gawain's Soul Surge is. Hail Meteor! In which he throws his axes, because they're not really swords, at an enemy, and it's glorious. Also, his ability to glide is, while physically impossible, really helpful. It allows you to just completely skip past enemies, and it's just glorious, because it also means you can do this diving slash, which is wonderful. I think the only frustration that I have with Gawain is that timing the diving slash can be a little bit finicky if you want to, unleash these poor innocent townspersons that have been captured. But also, if you're doing his combo, then he stands in place and frantically slashes. I mean, it works because that is how he fights you in his boss fight, but from a gameplay perspective, anything that actively stops the flow of gameplay can be particularly frustrating, especially in a Sonic title. Also, I don't care that I've got a time limit, I want to save these people, because this is clearly what my duty is. Now, I will point out that I am pretty sure that this particular part is the only time you're going to be seeing me use the other Knights of the Round Table. Largely because, at the end of the day, the best character to play in the game is Sonic. His abilities are just so much better and so much more suited to the general level design. Also largely because you can only use the other Knights of the Round Table in the levels which are red on the world map. So you can only use them in Shrouded Forest, Great Megalith, the Cauldron, and the one that Sonic will have to face. But you're not going to see that for a little while yet, because it doesn't unlock until you have played around with the other Knights of the Round Table. Or at least done the other quests, i.e. completed Shrouded Forest, Great Megalith, and the Cauldron. And that was an explanation that took far longer to do than necessary.
Not too bad.
But, oh well. Now, I actually can't remember what the mission that unlocks after beating Great Megalith is. I think it's something along the lines of don't get hit. We'll see in a minute.
When the sacred sword pierces stone, so shall return the power. What of Excalibur, greatest of all sacred swords? The king wore its scabbard, but I never saw the sword itself.
Interesting. I say as I stroke my beard that is absolutely non-existent. Either way, so in between doing the Shrouded Forest and going into Great Megalith, I went back, beat up Gawain again to get the Medal of Gawain. Because the way that you get these medals is by beating the boss of which it connects to. So you get Medal of Lancelot from Lancelot, Medal of Gawain from Sir Gawain, and Medal of Percival from Sir Percival. The only different one is the Medal of Sonic, but I will go into that at a later point. Also, yeah, I was actually right, it is Die Hard challenge, so get through without taking a hit, which is pretty easy considering Knuckles / Gawain can fly. So what does the Medal of Gawain do? It changes the music to Unknown from ME, which means we get a little bit of rap up in this medieval his house. Because, you know, you can call me Knuckles, but unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle. Yeah. Oh dear, this song just... I don't know what... There we go. Unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle. Why, guys? Why? Who thought that line was a good idea, considering it is actually factually wrong? Considering in Knuckles' first appearance, he chuckles. That is an entire point of his character. Getting angry about a game from many, many years ago. This is what it's like to live on the internet. Anyway, it's time to head on to the final of the Knights of the Round Table's missions with Percival. And she gets 3 equipment slots, which is rather helpful. But also she gets the most difficult mission to do, considering her skill set. And she's easily my least favourite Knight of the Round Table to play as. And that's frustrating, because Blaze is easily one of the better characters in the Sonic franchise, at least in terms of Sonic's friends, because she's badass, she's a decent female character, and just... I mean, considering I think in Sonic 06, I think she's the best character to play as. I've never played Sonic 06 because I've avoided that game like the plague, but it's sad to see her go from being excellent character to play as to... Because... the thing is, Blaze can't do a homing attack. She has a double jump, but it's not got very much forward momentum. And also, her spinning dash is that sword thrust charge, which is really not helpful. Also, as you can see, I'm really not stopping to face down these enemies, because Blaze's sword play is a little bit finicky. It's because she uses a rapier, and rapiers are swords that are generally more used for thrusting than slashing. And while I'd say that probably they made an effective decision in how to use her in this, it's just not as fun to play. And also because of bits like this, where you need forward momentum, she's a really dangerous character to play as. I died so many times in just that first section alone because of either trying to attack enemies and then getting hit because she's not actually that fast when it comes to slashing, but also getting hit by the lava flows because Blaze doesn't have always enough forward momentum to carry her through. And when I did my first playthrough of Sonic and the Black Knight, I had to do this mission as Sonic. I tried as Blaze and I just couldn't do it. And even now, after all these years, I still struggled. Thankfully, I did finally manage to get through the damn thing, but then I ended up having that recording glitch that you saw resulting in the previous part, where a bit of the visuals just kind of vanished. I think it was because my hoppage was kind of freezing a bit, and yeah, it happened during this mission. I'm sure you can understand my absolute devastation at that, because I was just like, oh my god, I've actually done it. And then I didn't, because I had to do it all over again. It's just like, oh. Oh well, either way, I suppose doing it again meant that I had the chance to try and do this better than before. I mean, I certainly got hit less during this last section, so I suppose that is a success at the end of the day. I don't think I did it any quicker, but oh well, these things happen. It was a much safer run at the end of the day, so I will take what I can get. But there we go, it's done! Hate that mission so much as Blaze. Still a 1 star. Yeah, it's just awful to play as Blaze throughout the mission. Just play it as Sonic if you really want to do well, because the ability to do a homing attack or the ability to glide just makes that so much more of a doddle.
This must be it. Our fate is now in your hands, Sir Sonic.
But before we can go on to the Dragon's Lair and do Sonic's mission, we've got to do the Cauldron's Mastery stage. But we're going to be playing it as Sonic. I have, I believe, attached the Medal of Percival, because yeah, either way, I was not doing this one as Blaze, because I'm just not that good with it. Anyway, Medal of Percival changes the music to Vellanova from Sonic Rush, which is quite fitting because that was the game in which Blaze was first introduced. And also, Vellanova is Blaze the Cat's main theme in Sonic Rush, so it's quite fitting. Now, this particular mission is quite difficult because you've got to know which enemies you need to defeat to break down the walls, but it's possible to get through it reasonably simply if you know where you're going, what you're hitting, and that's fine. But there we go. We have done all the stuff to do with the Knights of the Round Table, and it's time to move on to the final part of the story of Sonic and the Black Knight. Let's do this.